of all the fun that they can have both night and day, listening in to what the lovey-doveys have to say. I'll bet the things they'd hear would make a bachelor's hair turn gray when you love her by the radio phone. Love her by radio.
This project has been away for at least 2 years, a very long time. And you might remember a few years ago, I was in the process of rebuilding it. I just really wasn't happy with the way things were going. So what you have here is the Wyndcliffe model WDRR Mark II. Here's a bird's eye view of what the new WDRR looks like. The first thing you're going to notice, it's not that black lacquer finish anymore. It's actually crackle finish. It's from a company called Montana, although it's made in Germany. What I had to do was they had 2 versions of the base coat. One was white, one was gold. And when I put the gold down, it absorbed into the masonite, and I couldn't get the black to do any wrinkles, so I had to pound down some white, then some gold, and then the black, and then the magic just sort of happens on its own. The other thing that's different is I widened this board out. The original one was probably out to, right around the edges of my fingertips. And I thought, well, I can fill this up, so I did. The other thing that I promised I was going to do in the original video, might notice, this doesn't come out anymore. It's actually secured by these 2 bolts. I put 2 pieces of wood block in here and then screwed in the mounting screws. Now this thing is solid. Basically the same instrument as it was before, with a few little details. One, you got a main tuner. You also have a vernier, which kind of works. It's not the best, but it does work. You still have your regeneration control up here. The 2 tubes. You notice that pink thing in there? That's a piece of cloth. I'm probably going to get some black foam rubber, because the one thing I did find out about this set, it is very microphonic. And so these 2 will given to howl if given a chance. New knob for the, in fact, a new switch for the if you want to call it the band switch, but the range switch, I guess you could call it. I went ahead and redid the whole thing. And of course you have your headphones, the antenna and ground. And this is also a little different. The original one was mounted underneath, inaccessible. It was one of those set it and forget it type affairs, and I said no, I want to be able to, if I need to it's the antenna coupler. I want to be able to widen the range or tighten it. So I went ahead and I mounted it flush to the top of the control panel. So now I just can take a screwdriver and do that directly. Another thing that I've done as an improvement, I didn't like the fact that you had 4 wires trailing out of here. I thought originally it'd be like a Radiola 3, you'd have a wire harness and you hook it up to directly to the batteries you need. I didn't like that. I preferred something that's going to be more solid. So this is what I've done. This is the original hole. Used to be on the back, but since I have this thing arranged now to where these 2 screws are holding stuff, that was going to get in the way, so it got moved over to the side. Now, all the batteries are mounted on the back. 4 9-volts and then 2 C cells. Okay, batteries are now installed up here. This thing is ready to go. All we have to do now is hook up the phones, hook up the antenna. So, here are the antenna leads. Grab those real quick. Very straightforward, nothing special about it. Now, as was listed in my previous video, I'll bring this up. The amplifier is up here. I'll go ahead and turn that on. Old Teletalk intercom base station turned into an amplified speaker. Put this down here. Here are the phones. One connection. Two connections. And make sure this is down because boy, this thing is going to be loud. And if you're all set, I'm all set. Set this to 0. Set this to this lead. And check for that sound. There's that plong plong. Both those are live and you can just hear it's wanting to howl a little bit. Bring up our generation. Whoa, it's trying to howl. There we go. Whoa. Let me make sure that the dampening material is doing what it should be doing. May have to add a little more to it. In fact, let me pause this and let me do that. It ain't pretty, but it does the job. It's dampening the material. What you hear on the top is 700 WLW. It's really flirting with, but you can hear it. There we go. Somewhere in Chicago. Oh, you are just trying to howl. Probably be easier if I used headphones with this, but for a public demonstration, this is really the best way I can do it. Something's trying to come in. There we go.
Quick influx of 100% federal subsidies for 3 years.
That is $9.50.
100% covered.
Comes in very clean. Now, this is hooked up to the Cliff Dweller's antenna that I have up in the top. In fact, you know what? Let me try something here. Oh yeah. I heard that if you remove the ground, it just goes crazy. And that is exactly true. Stations are now coming in all over the place. Boy, stations are really popping in.
He appears to be a terrific person, everything that we read about him.
Because Ganassi had more cars than Foyt, so Ganassi, I'm sure, had to buy more stuff than Foyt did, but Foyt was...
It's about how much you work into every day, too. That's why we brew a beer for those who realize that expending calories should never come down.
It's a very fun set for just 2 little tubes.
On your smartphone, in the car, outside, inside, we don't give a... Because you know who we are. You know how to find me.
Wow, that's loud.
Sports Radio.
That's 1260.
If you're a pro, you don't buy a little of this or that.
That's 1310. Now, we're reaching top end, so now we've got to move this over a little. Now, we're at the top end of the band. We can now bring in the Hispanic station, which is usually considered the top end.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted.
In a situation, we have a brother by the name of Wyndcliffe, who is a songwriter. He's an
1310.
Chase Elliott Racing Cat planted firmly on your nugget.
We're firmly on your nugget.
That have been on a higher tier of DirecTV or their cable package or Dish Network.
Deshaun Watson to me should be the sure thing, as far as that's who you take first.
Now we're bringing up the regeneration.
If Johnny doesn't do the strawberry again.
And there's WLW again. Up again. Now eventually what happens is we're going up the AM band. So let's just zip all the way over. Now, if I'm correct, we should now be on the high end of the AM band. So let's bring up our volume. Oh, there's our regeneration control. We should be getting into the shortwave area. Now there's only one problem. I thought I cured it, but I didn't. Hand capacitance. So I may have to do double hands here to try to keep stuff in line. In fact, what is that? Here, I'll just do this. Somewhere we should have the 80-meter band. I think it's going to be the next. It's probably going to be the next step over. Whoa, a little high. All right. Let's see if I get it here. Whoops, something just popped in. Yeah, there's a shortwave station. It's a little beacon. Some Latin station. Probably Radio Havana, Cuba. That's a shortwave station. Another one. There's old Brother Stare. Is that guy dead?
Headline News, Monday, February 27, 2017.
I guess not. Very touchy on these bands. I'm going to try to bring up something like something else up here if I can bring up. Well, as you can hear, it's just proving itself too unstable for the higher bands, but the lower bands does beautiful. So here you are, after about 4 years. I think it was 4 years, maybe a little earlier. It's been a long time. Finally, this is a homebrew project that's complete. The Wyndcliffe radio, model WDRR, which stands for Wyndcliffe Dual Tube Radio Receiver. I know it should probably be WDTRR, but that's too many letters. It's just easier because I also have a crystal set which is called the WCRR. So in this case, just to simplify things, this one is complete. The Wyndcliffe WDRR radio receiver.